Hey team, welcome back to yet another episode of my poker vlog. My name is Wes and today I'm going to be walking you guys through some of my favorite ways to get ready for a big live poker series like the one I will be playing next week, the Utrecht Poker Series. This is going to be my first event of the year and I want to get into the best shape I possibly can to raise my chances of success. So, don't get stressed out. You don't have to do anything, but I'm going to be walking you guys through it. Sit back, relax, and just enjoy the show. Let's dig in. Alright guys, let's get started with thing number one. And I think it's the most fundamental thing, no matter what you're doing in life, no matter what you're pursuing, and that is to make sure that you have healthy lifestyle habits in place. Now, I've been working on this for the last decade or so, trying to make sure that no matter what I do, I always am consistent with my healthy habits. And so, really, for me, I try and keep things as simple as possible. And it comes down to three things. The first of those is making sure that my nutrition gets on point. In December, I didn't eat as healthy as I normally do, and I think most people have experienced that. So in January, I like to start things back up, start to focus a little bit more on what I'm eating. And I don't follow any particular diet. The first thing that I really try and do is to make sure that I cut out all the crap. So all the processed foods, I don't try and snack as much or have as much ice cream, which I definitely love, or chips or those kind of things. I just try and keep it simple, eat fresh foods, quality protein, make sure I hydrate sufficiently. I try to minimize a little bit of my caffeine exposure, but other than that, that's pretty much it, and I try and be consistent with that. So I have 3 meals a day and no snacks in between. I try and drink a lot of water. And really, it's just doing those basics consistently over time is going to get you the results that you're looking for. Another part of having a healthy lifestyle for me is making sure that I get sufficient sleep. That is also the reason I'm trying to cut down on caffeine, especially later in the day. So the first thing that I'm trying to do is to make sure that I go to bed and wake up at pretty much the same times. I try and minimize my exposure to light during the later time. So not a lot of online poker late at night, unfortunately. And then also at the same time, once I'm up, I try and get, a little bit of sunlight exposure and I go outside at least an hour a day, just so I stay in that rhythm. Now, the last thing is a big one as well, and that is making sure that I exercise on a consistent schedule. Now, like I said, I've been doing this for a long time. Over a decade, I have done this thing called CrossFit. I absolutely love it. And if you know somebody that does CrossFit, they probably don't shut up about it. But I think it's a great way of making sure that you stay fit. Now, for me, what you should do is always make sure you do something that you like. And although I don't always like it, especially when it's one of the tougher workouts, I also think it makes a great impact on you mentally. And so therefore, I really stick with CrossFit. Do it with some friends, have some fun, and that's the most important thing. Next to doing CrossFit, I also have a weekly running challenge that I do with my buddy Ben. Shout out to Ben, because I know he's going to be watching this. Alright guys, going for another run today. It is freezing out here, but Ben, what do you think?
Oh, cold already.
We're going for it. We do a running challenge where each week we try and run a little bit more than we did the previous week, and right now we're at 13K. The last thing that I do in terms of exercise is just making sure I do 100 push-ups a day, not in a row, just over the day, and that's kind of my way to make sure that I'm in the best shape that I can possibly be. And if you are in the best shape, then I think it's also going to transfer over to having more focus, better energy, and you're just going to be sitting and getting ready at the table to crush people. All right, team, time for thing number 2. And thing number 2 that I really like to do and put more emphasis on to get ready for a big poker week like next week is going to be to put extra emphasis on my study practices. So, poker is a lot like chess. you need to study. You need to put in the hours. And the way you do this is by, well, studying your opponents, of course, but also studying yourself, your own mistakes, your own faults that you make at the table, and try and learn from those. But last but not least, I also try and study a lot of theory. I still think that I have a lot of opportunity to get better there. So that's one of the other areas that I try and focus on. Now, one of the ways that I do this, and I'm in no way associated with them and I don't get any kickback, is by following this thing called the Master Life Cash Course. It's a course from Raise Your Edge. Great course that gives you a lot of information. Things like pre-flop ranges. What hands should you play and what hands should you not play? And then there's also a lot of theory in there helping you to maneuver once you go post-flop. So that's going to be one of the things that I'm going to study up on. And then also they have a Discord group where I really like to discuss hands that I played, hands that others played, so I can learn from their mistakes, or I can start to be more aware of my own leagues that I have. And the last thing that I like to do is really try and put in time to play online. Now, I know online poker is a lot different than live poker, but it still helps me to get repetitions in, start getting familiar with the game, and start making this a little easier for myself. So, study, put in the hours, and then play a little bit to get ready for what's coming. Time for my last favorite way to get ready, and this might actually surprise you because I don't actually know if it counts as a method of preparing yourself for an event, but it is actually to sit down, relax, and just have some fun. And especially the days leading up to the actual event, I will probably not go and do as much poker as I did before. I will still keep the healthy habits, of course, but I won't do as much studying, I won't do as much playing, for the sole reason just to trust that I've put in the work and that I'm also there to go and have a good time. Oftentimes, for me personally, I take things a little bit too seriously, and then all of a sudden what happens is you get super stressed, you forget to enjoy what you're actually doing. And so for me, that's another way that I'm gonna try and get ready, is just get my mind off the days leading up to the event. It's just trusting that I've done the work and that I'm gonna try and shine at the tables. So I know maybe this doesn't really count as a way of preparing yourself for a poker event, but I think it's crucial for my success, and that's why I wanted to share it with you guys. And that wraps it up, team. Those are my favorite ways to get prepared for an event like next week. And yes, I know they might not be mind-blowing things, but I do think that it's nice to know how I get ready for these kind of live poker events. Obviously, I hope I'm gonna crush it, but please, if you have any other favorite methods to prepare yourself for live poker, then drop them in the comments below. And if you like this video, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already, because, well, I just want to try and grow this channel. And so therefore, also any feedback that you guys have on these formats that I'm trying out, please let them know, share your thoughts. I would love to hear it if you made it this far. Thank you guys for watching. Let's try and go and crush it next week.